A muscle tee.
It's not a muscle tee.
It's a muscle tee.
It's a cut-off sleeve
not.
T-shirt. And George says, I'm aging myself by wearing a cut-off because nobody wears that under the age of...
Well, you don't wear a sleeveless shirt when you're 60 years old. Your arms are all on side.
First of all, speak for yourself, because I'm not 60. I'm a strong 45 right now.
Yeah, 60 is the new 59.
Keeping it... Okay, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And thanks for indulging us. Maybe that could be our...
Thanks for indulging us tagline?
Thanks for indulging us.
If you have a tagline in mind for us that doesn't have swear words in it...
then it's no good. It's getting thrown out without swear words. Hey, we got to talk about Michigan.
All right, we're talking about Michigan. Go ahead.
The Senate just passed... and Michigan, I just love what this author from the Gateway Pundit said about the Michigan. You got to hear about the top three there. The sad truth is the majority Democrat legislature is mostly filled with self-promoters, deal cutters, and parasites indebted to the three witches at the top of the food chain: the lockdown queen of America, FBI kidnap victim, and CCP cheerleader, Governor Gretchen Whitman, Democrat Attorney General Dana Nessel, who frequently uses lawfare to punish her opponents, her political enemies, and the dirtiest Democrat Secretary of State in America, Jocelyn Benson, who's been overturned in the Supreme Court on many of her overreaches in the election cycles and her rules.
That's true.
I just love that. That's who's in charge of Michigan. One more thing, Trump. It's really very much a swing state. Trump needs to really needs the state, and go ahead.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that you use this as a source because, not interesting. I thought yes, this kind of like when he was using all of these kind of slightly derogatory references and descriptions, you know,
he's pissed.
I was like, because I like a little more facts. But I read the article and he made some very salient points without question.
Okay,
about it.
Salient. We want to know how to pronounce that. Put that on because I always say salient. You say salient. And it is every time after the shows, I keep going, what was that word? I can't remember it. Okay. And you just said it, so now we can do it.
Okay, getting back to the fact that the reason that, and I don't know if I don't want to jump ahead on your cycle.
You're going to right here. I have a strange feeling.
I don't think is that the reason that Michigan is so freaked out and passed this bill, which we'll talk about one second.
It's because they think Biden's going to drag them down.
That's right, because they think Biden's going to lose the state, and it's a swing state.
Today they smashed it because, well, yeah, I didn't mention that whatever, but that is the reason why they passed.
Because of Israel.
Yes, because of the Palestinian-Israel situation,
ipso facto.
And they have a huge Arabian, Arabic population. But anyway, this. They say that they smashed this bill through because it was Democrat-only votes, and it's called SB603. Look into it. It promotes election fraud. It's going to be a freaking hurricane of election fraud. But anyway, it repeals the current law that gives authority to a bipartisan county board of canvassers to investigate fraud and other wrongdoing, including ballot tampering during the recounts. And let's go back to really quickly, get your time machine on. What? We're going to go back 11 p.m. the eve of the election of the 2020 election. Just real quick.
Surprise! Here's some more.
Well, you gotta. I mean, Michigan residents went to bed believing with Trump's massive lead, there's no way Biden could beat him. But the day after the election, hundreds of thousands of votes mysteriously appeared, and the wee hours of the morning, the votes were almost all for Joe Biden. It was like 95% Joe Biden when Trump was leading up until that point.
Yeah,
it's just incongruent. The votes were almost all for Joe Biden, almost none for President Trump. Leftist judges in Michigan refused to hear multiple lawsuits that were filed with claims of voter fraud, and spineless Republicans like blankety blank, blankety blank, House Oversight Committee and Senator Ed blah, 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 they brushed the testimony under the rugs. I mean, it was just, this is a state where they just passed this SB 603, and the state was already in a horrendous state of corruption.
Okay, so let's a point of clarity, which you might, I don't want to jump on there, but SB 603, as you said, it repeals the previous law, and what it does is it applies now only to recounts. It doesn't apply to
fraud.
Well, because I saw this one note from the Democrat, because I think you're going to be on the same.
Is he against it? Let's see. So what did he say?
No, she said that Stephanie Chang, Democrat State Senator Stephanie Chang, said that this is for simple retabulation of ballots, as you said, and not for fraud or anything else, because she said that they have other laws and procedures for that. But I don't know what those are, and I don't know if that's really realistic, and I think this is the first line of defense.
It's a lie.
So this, but this is the first line of defense, is to have an existing law that they had previously where you could voice your concerns about all that.
Yeah, there will be no future route for requesting a recount if you believe there's fraud. There is, under the corruption bill, he called it, Jim Runstad called it the corruption bill. Candidates will be prohibited from requesting a recount if they suspect fraud, and is designed to stop investigating of election fraud by the board of canvassers. They will not. It will now allow just the general clerks, who are Democrats, to recount ballots, even if seals are broken on ballot containers. And the bill changes the standard of petition a recount results from alleging mistake or fraud, which you would mention.
Yeah.
In the process, and now only alleging that there has been an error. So
in the counting. Right.
Yes. So even if the candidate party is absolutely convinced there was fraud, they cannot allege or be investigated, because they can't do that. And my last point, there's more here.
Yeah, of course.
The language is changed to prohibit a recount, investigation or audit of the conduct of an election when fraud is alleged to only a determination of the number of votes cast by one candidate or another, or a ballot question. And lastly, a recount could not assess the qualification. The bill says a recount could not assess the qualification of the voters participating in an election, or the manner in which the ballots are applied for, or issues to voters. So dead voters, uncleansed rolls, voter rolls, illegal alien voters, out-of-state voters. They can't. All they can do is count them. All they can do is count the votes. Yeah. They can't analyze the votes if they're legal or not. So it doesn't matter if you have 20% of the votes are illegal. You can't prove that they're illegal because they just have to count the vote. Well, the vote is here. Oh, you mean the signatures? Oh, but we can't look at the signature. We can't do. It's just a joke.
Oof, that was sharp.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And
it's unbelievable.
I know this gets you riled, and I appreciate that. And it's
but it's not just that. It's in a state that is being strangled by liberal policies.
Right.
And people are, well, is it Michigan? Check me on this, but I think people are leaving Michigan. It's one of the few states that more people are leaving than coming, besides California.
Oh, yeah. Well, because when you talk about Michigan, you have to understand that there's a tremendous rural population there that does not echo any of the Democratic policies as far as their philosophy is concerned.
They're going to get hammered.
And they're always hammered because you have Detroit, which is like the major metropolis. And it's just like Colorado with Denver. And this is what drives the state politics, because that's where the population base is. You know what I mean? So
let's just...
It's a little bit brutal. But when you talk about the state legislature, that's why it's a little bit closer. What is it, 18 to 20 in the Senate? Is the balance between...
In Michigan?
In Michigan.
I was winning. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I knew that they had a majority. I didn't know what the exact count was. And then
20 to 18 is how it passed.
And then what about the House?
I don't know.
I thought you said the House had,
I didn't.
had a majority.
I meant the Senate if I misspoke. But anyway, it's just it all just kind of comes down to that whole thing. And like when you go in, and I remember reading about this before, if I can speak now.
Yes.
Is it... When the Republicans came in and they were trying to clear the voter rolls of dead voters and people that didn't live in that county anymore.
People lived out of state that still voted.
And things of that nature.
And
it was a big hue and cry that the Republicans are trying to deny the right to vote.
In after hours.
I was talking. I was still talking.
Sorry. Go.
So... this is the landscape we're dealing with right now, and it's like, you know...
it's very bumpy.
It is a very bumpy landscape. All right, well, but the problem is it's not illegal. It's like, just so we know what's going on, though, that's what you're facing when it comes to
they're
swing state.
They're codifying election votes to the Senate, to the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Which that means she's a dictator of how the election goes. That's wrong.
I feed off your energy. You know, it really bolsters me throughout the day. I can carry it.
Bolster,
Like right there.
I get more. I'm more bolstered with a holster.
I'm feeling a little tuckered out. I just think about my brother, and it's like all of a sudden I get it's like spinach to Popeye. That's what it is to me.
Spinach to Popeye.
So, are we buttoning up?
That's good. Well, yeah. Let me do a little button up.
Right.
That
because I want to talk about Netflix.
well, you're gonna do a final button up. My button up is that, in case you guys weren't aware, there was supposed to be a Democrat debate in Fahiny Lewis's district, and it's the first one ever that they've had a Democrat debate, and she missed it. She didn't go. Because she was too busy with Trump's thing, and she's been going to the presidential dinners or whatever.
What kind?
And the guy, what's his name, Mr. Smith? I didn't even get his first. My question is, where are you? Because he was sitting there. Look at this. Here it is. He was sitting there by himself. That's why I did the fake Fanny thing, because he was sitting by himself on an empty stage. And
well, didn't she like call and said, "Hey,
nothing.
bro, I can't."
Didn't show. I don't know about that. Maybe she did.
But he actually went to the event.
He was maybe he did it as an optic move, you know.
That's trouble.
Yeah, maybe he did it as like just to make him look good. But he goes, his question to you is Fanny, and when asked whether he wanted to guess a rebuttal Miss Willis would have given, he said, Mr. Smith says, her absence is all the response that we need.
Yeah.
You know, however, it's like he cannot speak for the district attorney, but however, her absence is he's another liberal anyway, so it doesn't matter. But maybe he doesn't have freaking Trump up his ass.
He's another liberal anyway. God dang it. Speaking of,
well, the liberals that I respect are few and far between these days.
Wow, it's getting
10 years ago, I respected them. 99%.
If they could step up, I mean, JFK. That's not what your country can do for you.
I just ran into a liberal friend of mine with Surf Check, and he's like, I go, I got to go because I'm freaking out about getting ready for the show because I'm always unprepared, and and he brings up Stormy Daniels because she's testifying today, right? And,
today
so
she.
And he goes, so you believe that case? And I go, how can you even ask me that? And he just goes, you go live in your silo. You have fun in your silo. Accusing me of being in a bubble when it was just funny. But we're good natured. We smile, we laugh. I go, dude.
Attaboy.
Yeah, attaboy. You go. I know you believe this. I think you're a moron for believing it. But okay, but I love you.
I did. What do you think of the odds? Are going to be for Biden and Trump having a debate? What do you think that Biden's going to come out of his? Well, let's say he's in a permanent basement status, really, with his protection.
It's going to be a Zoom debate.
Don't say phalanx, and come out and have a thing. Because it's like Trump is like, I'll have it at the White House. I'll have it here, in front of the court. I'll have it wherever. I'll have it at CNN.
I'll have it at MSNBC.
Yeah, have it at Mar-a-Lago. Wherever you want,
I'll have it at
And Biden's like,
I'll have it at the Democratic National Conventions.
Yeah, Biden's like, oh, we'll do it. But yeah. Sure.
Well, and also the date they plan is the latest date of actually it's actually the date of the first debate is after the beginning of early voting. So it's like you should have the debate before the first vote can be cast. Yes. And it's not a huge deal, but it's like it could be 20%.
Well, dude, that can swing people the same way the Hunter Biden laptop and the Biden corruption swung people.
Well, what? Oh.
The fact that we did.
Do you think that was a conspiracy theory, Tim? That was a total conspiracy theory. The Hunter Biden laptop.
Still is to this day. Okay, let's button up.
Okay, Tim's got the best button up.
Positive because
I see Seinfeld. I got to look.
Did you watch? I went Netflix. We're talking about. Did you see Unfrosted yet?
I have not. Does that mean you could talk about it? Because I don't care about spoiler alerts. You can go ahead.
Oh yeah, George likes to spoil everything.
I don't.
Not everything.
Wow.
Okay, but anyway,
that is a giant.
The point is that I was really
enjoy it.
I was incredibly.
Just do it.
You know, you think like Melissa McCarthy, Jerry Seinfeld, all these people I like, Amy Schumer, take her or leave that.
Amy Schumer, I could take her to the trash. That's it.
Ooh, there he is, right there, right on the sleeve. And the point is that, so you're thinking stellar cast, and it's like I was so underwhelmed with the whole thing.
Oh.
My wife fell asleep, and it just wasn't there. There's just nothing there. It's like you just don't even need to watch it now.
I kind of wanted Seinfeld to have something to happen.
Oh, I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be solid.
I despise the other, but
the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm like, is it going to be like this the whole way? Because this is not working for me anyway. But as my friend likes to say,
is she a presidential office holder or something?
No, nothing like that. It has to do with
because I see Marine One going away.
No,
here.
it has to do with Pop-Tarts.
Has to do with what?
Pop-Tarts.
Faucet or Faucet?
Yeah, Kellogg's versus Post battle. Trying to come up with a breakfast Pop-Tarts type thing. Okay, but yes.
No, it's a tangent. Okay,
you go. Hang on. Anyway, as my friend likes to say, Brian, he's like, well, is it better than your movie? And it's like, yes, it's a hell of a lot better than my movie.
Who said that? I love
Brian always said
that.
And now my wife has taken that over. Is it better than your movie? I hear that all the time. So it's like I'm very careful about what I critique, but this I was just unhappy
with. It's like, does our child act better than your child?
Now, you mentioned to me offhandedly earlier in the day, you talked about Jesus Revolution on Netflix.
Great.
And I was like, what's he
talking? I cried, I laughed.
Oh, let me just say something about the crying, dude. I mean, I cry in movies.
Did you watch it?
Easily. We watched it last night.
Oh my gosh, even with my spoiler.
You didn't spoil it for me.
Because it really wasn't a spoiler.
It wasn't really a spoiler.
Because you kind of knew it was a true story based in California, but
yeah, based on Southern California, based kind of like in our neighborhood, sort of. And the point is that 5 minutes in,
Florida, let's not disclose.
5 minutes in, I start crying, and I didn't stop crying like almost through the whole movie. It's ridiculous.
I was sniffing the whole movie in tears.
No, I'm blowing my nose. I'm doing the whole thing.
It's a great movie.
Insane. It is so.
And this was the first movie that was religious based that Hollywood realized we need to fund these movies.
Well, to that end, and that's interesting to know, because I was blown away by the production value, the writing, the acting, the set design,
it wasn't Hollywood money. It wasn't Hollywood money.
And it wasn't Hollywood money, and they did an amazing job with this film. As a story, it's fantastic. It's basically a true story.
Kelsey Grammer was just...
And Kelsey Grammer...
He was off the charts.
We can all learn from Kelsey Grammer's character how he grew and how he embraced.
Even in the... Yeah,
I mean, Jordan, your kind of offhanded recommendation really affected me, and it really spoke to me, I think, to what's happening in the landscape out there with all of us that are having such divisive conversations with our neighbors. But Jesus Revolution, totally 5 stars, whatever,
me too.
From Flying Watson Brothers all the way. And
nice.
We can all learn and take lessons from it. Loving your fellow man, no prejudging, no making fun of skinny necks and bulging eyes.
Pencil neck shift.
Peace out. Have a good day. Love
He's
you
going
all.
to be our next freaking, you know what.
Are you going to say goodbye?
Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, thanks for coming.